Alrighty, guys. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well out there. Hope you have a double espresso in your hand because we have to go over Palantir and the entire market for that matter. Which, guys, 1 minute it's red, the next minute it's green, the VIX is up, the VIX is down. Guys, it's crazy out there. It's Friday. We got to break things down. And also, we have to go over what Piper Sandler said about Palantir. I know I'm a little late on that, but we're going to break that down. I haven't been doing too many Palantir videos. If you haven't noticed, we're not doing them too often anymore or as often as we were. Not for any particular reason, but hey, sometimes we can't jam videos every day for everything. So we're gonna cover it today. We're gonna break it down today, guys. Hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, join the Patreon if you want to keep up with my portfolio updates. I post multiple per week, right? I post every time I buy a stock. We break it down, right? Check it out, link down below, pinned in the comments as well. Now let's go. So last video I made, guys, we were a little bit more in the red, right? But now markets are actually going green. The VIX is slipping even more. We're now down over 7% on the VIX as every metal is down. Well, not every metal, at least the ones here on my watch list. Silver's down, gold's down, and it's one of those days where we're finally seeing volatility cool off a little bit. The metals come down, which we've needed that. And stocks are seeing a little rally here. Barely, but I guess you can say it is a little rally. And Palantir is barely up right now, 0.07%. So pretty much Palantir is at break even, right? And as we pull the layers back a little bit, you're going to realize, wait a second, we put in another lower high this morning, right? So yeah, we're green, but overall the bears in the short term are no doubtably in charge, right? You're seeing that. We're putting in these lower highs, clear as day, right? Lower high, lower high, lower high. You're seeing that right here. Lower high, lower high. You get it. And today, this morning, about 2 hours ago, we put in another lower high at about 181.82. So this morning, guys, we were in the 180s, 181.50 to be exact, and we clearly got rejected. You see it here on the intraday. We got hit there, and now boom. We saw a big drop from 182 pretty much to 174, about a 3-4% drop there. Not the end of the world because we are starting to rebound. But again, we put in a lower high. But at the same time, we are holding support, right? We're holding support at 170 to 172. We held that this morning. We held that 3 days ago, right? 3-4 days ago, whatever. We held it last week. So Palantir, yes, is making these lower highs, but again, it's holding support at 170. That's ideal. But what is that? That is an ascending or a descending triangle rather, which is bearish in the short term. It is, right? The lower highs into the support here. It is bearish in the very short term, but we are seeing a pop over the 180 SMA. So it's like it's a constant battle between the bulls, the bears, always in the entire stock market, but especially right now with Palantir in the short term, right? Very, very much a battle here, and it's going to come down to earnings, in my opinion. I honestly, I don't see this thing breaking out before earnings, or maybe it does. I don't know. We still have like 2-3 weeks before earnings, but yeah, man, I feel like on the 5th of November or the 3rd of November is when we're getting their numbers. I think leading into that, maybe we start to get some hype, but now it's the 17th of October. We're kind of in no man's land, waiting for earnings, waiting for the hype before earnings to build up, if it even does. And I think in the meantime, we're just going to chill here a little bit. And look, man, we're in a wedge as well. Lower highs and higher lows as well, if you want to look at it this way. So this looks, it looks like we just need to wait for direction. Do we dump under here like that? Or again, do we take out the top trend line here, start moving over 180, 185? Really, 185 is the number that you guys need to watch. If that's able to start, we start seeing the break over there, that's going to be ideal. But I think we're going to need hype before earnings to get us there, or earnings themselves to get us there. So let me go to this article here, guys. Again, I'm a little late, barely late, but hey, I'm a little late. You guys know with the internet nowadays, everything's instant. I mean, it's been like that for a long time, but now news cycles, my point is, they're quick, right? But either way, this article says don't say bye-bye to Palantir stock, say bye-bye, as in B-U-I-B-U-I. Don't say B-I or B-Y-E, as in bye-bye, say bye-bye, like Jim Cramer, right? Bye-bye, 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 bye, So let's come down here a little bit and see what they are saying. So it goes into what Palantir does a little bit. Investors are obviously over the moon about Palantir, blah, blah, blah. It looks like here Piper Sandler's Clark Jeffries acknowledges that there is no argument Palantir's valuation leaves no margin for error, right? I agree. It's pretty highly valued, not just market cap, but if you look at the ratios, price to earnings, price to sales, yeah, I mean, it's pretty up there. We make the joke all the time. If a value investor looked at Palantir's numbers, I mean, look, they'd cry and run the other way. But yeah, there's no argument, this guy says here. Palantir's valuation leaves no margin for error, particularly if any signs of moderating growth emerge. So if signs of growth slowing down, if things aren't looking great there, yeah, this valuation could compress big time, right? The company boasts tremendous visibility on future revenue, over $7 billion in defined contracts, plus an estimated $4 billion in IDIQ contracts, alongside year-to-date triple-digit growth in commercial bookings, right? And with the potential to capture a larger share of the $1 trillion U.S. defense market, the company could double or triple its current government business while still being far smaller than the top defense primes, right? Which goes to show how much more potential there is here. Jeffries also said Palantir has not reached peak growth, and therefore we do not see a catalyst to halt current momentum, right? The analyst believes the defense sector is undergoing a profound shift, moving away from large, costly assets towards more agile, software-driven, and unmanned solutions, which, guys, newsflash, that's been happening. And Palantir, well, they're at the forefront of that. And over the past 5 years, the U.S. federal government has spent an average of $147 billion annually, with the top 5 defense primes roughly 16% of total defense spending. And in full year 24, Palantir broke into the top 100 Department of Defense vendors for the first time, ranking at 96. While the 95 larger vendors collectively accounted for $285 billion in spending. And Jeffries from Piper Sandler says, we pose this scenario to investors. If 0.5% of defense spending moved in the favor of Palantir, 0.5%, right? The company's overall government business could increase 5 times and still be 7 times smaller than Lockheed Martin. So think about that. Think about that. Let me say that one more time. If 0.5% of defense spending moved in the favor of Palantir, the company's overall government business could increase 5 times and still be 7 times smaller than Lockheed Martin. That is insane. That is where the value is, right? That is where people don't realize or tend to forget there's a lot of money left to be had or left to be made here. There's so much freaking money in these government contracts. It is insane. The government work is supported by its commercial endeavors. And here too, Jeffries thinks a sizable opportunity is still up for grabs. The analyst views Palantir as a secular beneficiary from the fundamental shift in how both government and commercial organizations build applications and data infrastructure in the AI era. This is big, man. And I agree. I wonder what his price target is. Jeffries has Palantir as an overweight, raising the price target from 182 to 201. Nice. I think the highest on Wall Street's like 220 from what I've seen, or 210 maybe. Either way, suggesting the stock will gain 13.5% over the coming months. However, his bullish stance isn't widely shared on Wall Street. While 4 other analysts also recommended buying Palantir, the majority remains cautious, with an additional 13 hold ratings and 2 sell ratings, and the stock claims a hold or a neutral consensus rating, and the average price target is $158 a share, implying a possible 12% decline over the next year. So, what do you guys think? I don't know if I'm as bullish on the price target as, Jeffries here. I don't know. Forget the price target for a second. What he was saying about the government business is really strong, is really true. And I agree with him 100%. But is that priced in? Is that already priced in to the stock? That's another thing that you have to mention or bring up. Is that already priced in? And I think it might be, or it could be, decent amount. But again, you never truly know how much more government business Palantir could get. And if they get some insane contracts that the stock wasn't pricing in or wasn't expecting, that is what could cause, boom, the stock to go even crazier. And coming from somebody that's owned the stock or has an average cost of $20 a share, I think it's a hold. I'm not buying Palantir here. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I'm just holding. And if it were to tank to, let's say, 120, 30, 40, $50 a share, maybe it gets towards that consensus price target of 158. All right, maybe at that point, I'll add a little bit more. But for now, for me, it's a hold. That's what I'm doing heading into earnings. And again, I'm keeping a close eye on this wedge here. Let's see what direction this thing ends up picking. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Run the likes up, subscribe, join the Patreon if you want to keep up with what I'm doing weekly in my portfolio. I'm investing thousands of dollars a month in this portfolio, guys, and I'm showing you how I'm building it. It's all on Patreon, and we're beating the market, by the way. All on Patreon, linked down below, or go to stasurfs.com/Patreon. Also, it's pinned in the comments. I'll see you guys in there, and with that being said, cheers. Have a great rest of your day.